Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to What We Saw on Stolen Cable. This episode, we're going to be reviewing Tombstone. I am your host, Uncle Patches, and with me is...
Sinister Cinema.
Tombstone was a movie that came out in the early 90s. It was
93.
93, yeah. It came out opposite, about within 6 months of another film called Wyatt Earp.
Yes.
They kind of did
the same story for the most part.
Yeah. Wyatt Earp version was done by Kevin Costner.
Mm-hmm.
And it was more of a historical drama than a...
Yeah, it was done more of a sort of a biopic.
Yeah, Tombstone's the fun one.
Very fun. It's the one that everyone remembers.
Yeah, nobody remembers Wyatt Earp.
Yeah. It's a very quotable movie. Probably one of the most quotable movies in existence.
Now, we started talking before we brought this in, and neither one of us can remember how we first saw this film.
No, not at all. I know I didn't see it in the theater.
Yeah, most definitely not in the theater.
Yeah. It had to have been one of the many times that it was played on TV after it was available.
Either that or on a VHS night or something.
Possibly, but
yeah,
I can't say that I ever remember renting it either.
You can't?
No. I've seen it so many times, and I don't think that I've ever rented it. I've seen it plenty of times on TV and streaming services.
It's one of the first films that I remember watching as an adult and not finding something that was taken out for the broadcast version of it. We were talking earlier, and I was saying, watching, I was building my DVD collection here as an adult, and I got National Lampoon's Vacation, which apparently I'd only seen on TV with commercials and stuff like that, and never realized that Beverly D'Angelo had a nude scene in the film, which I was absolutely shocked to see as an adult. But that's not the case with this particular film. It's actually pretty even keel with the sex scenes and stuff like that. There's like no sex scenes in there.
I don't think there's any things that needed to be sanitized for television.
Yeah, for a movie about murder, it's very child friendly, I guess.
This is a very family friendly Western.
Family friendly ish.
Yeah.
It's definitely a little bit sanitized. We found a little bit extra historical details that they left out of the film. You brought up. We'll bring that up a little bit later on.
Yes.
But we got his Tombstone. It stars Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell. I say Val Kilmer first because he pretty much stole the show.
Yes, his portrayal of Doc Holliday is very memorable. Everyone remembers that version of Doc Holliday. Whenever somebody mentions Doc Holliday, that's pretty much what most people envision is Val Kilmer's depiction of him in film.
Yeah. Which is a shame because Dennis Quaid did a version in Wyatt Earp, which was kind of breathtaking. I mean, he lost a ton of weight for that film.
Yes.
He was all geared up to get in. He never even got an Academy Award for his portrayal.
No. And I think in all actuality, he probably played the more true to life, accurate portrayal of Doc Holliday. But of course, Val Kilmer's was just a lot more entertaining.
I mean, the whole movie was a lot more entertaining.
Of course.
But it's a story of the OK Corral. This is what I like to call a dad movie. Because this would have been a movie that my dad really liked. I know he really liked it before he passed, but I was telling you earlier that, this is one of the only connecting moments that I have with my Uncle Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
He'd come down. I'd only seen the guy like a handful of times in my life, and when he came down when I was probably about 15 or 16 years old, he said, "Hey, have you seen that movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've seen Tombstone." And he goes, "Well, have you seen Wyatt Earp?" And I said, "Yeah, I saw that one too." He goes, "Of the two, which one did you think was better?" And I said, "Well, Wyatt Earp was more historical and everything like that, but I like Tombstone better because it was more entertaining." He goes, "Yeah, I know, me too."
I think that's pretty much everyone's take on everyone that has seen both movies will probably tell you the same thing. But most people have seen Tombstone and aren't even aware that Wyatt Earp movie exists.
Oh yeah, it was talked about back in the day about these two films being out, and it was pretty much glossed over now. What we're like almost 30 years in, 25 years in.
Yes. The Earp family, the Earp brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, this is a tale of the shootout at the OK Corral. We've got two main groups here. We've got the Earp brothers and their buddies, and then we've got the Cowboys, which is a group that the film made up. They were just the Clantons and the McLaurys which were a bunch of hellions of the day. I was doing a little bit of research just out of curiosity and found out that Wyatt Earp and Virgil Earp, which was played by Sam Elliott, those characters, those people, the actual real life people, served in the Union Army during the Civil War, where the most of McClowry's and the Clantons were Confederate soldiers.
Yeah, so
which probably led into the classic
could possibly
feuding families.
Yeah.
Remember the Beverly Hills Billies? Every once in a while they go feuding.
Yeah.
If you're a younger audience, you wouldn't know who the Beverly Hillbillies are, but they were. It was a whole thing back in the day.
Yeah.
They would always go on a feuding. Granny would grab her shotgun.
That show was actually even before our time, but it was played in reruns a lot.
Yeah.
When we were kids, so
on cable.
On cable, yeah. So that's why we know about it, and things like Three Stooges also very much viewed by us in our formative years, and but we're definitely before our time, but we're heavily played in reruns.
Yes, which is a lot that this current generation is missing out on. The great classics.
Absolutely.
All right, so back to the shootout at the OK Corral, Tombstone. So this basically follows the events leading up to and right after a famous shootout back in the Old West.
One of the most well-known and most well-documented shootouts.
Oh, yeah. So you got like this, and then you got anything that Billy the Kid did back in the day, which is a whole nother couple of films.
Yes.
That we could be talking about. But
so let's get back to the cast and explain a little bit about that.
Well, let's see. We had Kurt Russell, who played Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
We had Val Kilmer playing Doc Holliday. Sam Elliott, who's a staple in Western films, and I don't know if you need an old sage guy in anything nowadays. He's there, Sam Elliott. Bill Paxton played Morgan Earp. He's best known for being one of the only guys that was killed by a Terminator, a Predator, and an alien. Mm-hmm. Michael Biehn, he was in the previous film that we reviewed.
Yes.
Him being Johnny Ringo in this one, he had a pretty pivotal part. Dana Delaney playing Josephine Marcus. Of course, we've got Curly Bill Brockless. Brocious.
Played by Powers Booth.
Powers Booth, yes.
Very big in early westerns, and very iconic in any role he was in, really. His portrayal of Curly Bill was really good. I mean, he played a really good villain. He was someone that you love to hate.
Well, he was one of those guys that could play either way. He could play heel or he could play hero.
Yes,
very well. I mean, he played a heel
both with very convincing to a very convincing degree.
He was a very likable character in Red Dawn, where he played a colonel that was shot down over the contested area.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Occupied America. And then he played a really nasty villain in Sin City.
Yes, he did.
Really unlikable there. We've got Ike Clanton, played by Stephen Lang. Most people will probably know him today because he's the main villain in the Avatar series.
I don't know too much about the Avatar movies. I've seen the first one in like one time.
Yeah, well, the main antagonist in that film was him. He was the colonel that was trying to wipe out the...
Okay.
I can't even remember what they called it. The Naboo? No, that's Star Wars. The film is great in 3D, and I went to go see it in 3D, but I wasn't too into the plot or anything like that. But it was shot in 3D. It looked beautiful in 3D.
If you want to see, the animated version of Dances with Wolves, I guess you can watch that movie.
Yes, but Dances with Wolves would be still a better film to watch.
Much better.
No. Let's see. Then we got Thomas Hayden Church played Billy Clanton.
Yes.
This is his first theatrical role. Mm-hmm. He later went on to play
played
Sandman in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. And what else has he been in? Well, I guess
Well, I remember him most from Wings. Which was a TV show about a small airline company. Mm-hmm. And he kind of played a dunce, I guess you would call him.
Yeah.
He's a lot more sophisticated than that.
He has that look that I guess it would be easy for him to be cast as a kind of a dense person.
Yeah. Yeah, a simpleton, I guess.
Which that's the kind of the charm of Sandman in the Spider-Man universe is that he's just kind of a
He was
lovable, kind of simple guy, though.
he was an everyman in that. He was supposed to be like the common guy on the ground, and all of a sudden had something horrible happen to him, and he took to a life of crime.
Yeah,
and then had more stuff horrible happen to him.
yeah. Which is the reason why he kind of goes back and forth between being a semi-hero and a semi-villain.
Yeah, the guy's got range. I mean, he can play intense and he can play doofy. And Wings was a comedy, and he did very well with that one. Who do you play opposite of that one? You had
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub, who played a cab driver in that series.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, no. And then Tony Shalhoub went on to do a lot of great things. Yeah. I think the main character on that, and I can't remember his name, went on to do the voice of Superman in the Batman animated series in the 90s.
I think you're right. I can't remember his name either, but he played Jack Torrance in the miniseries of Shining.
Well, bringing up the Batman series, I see on the list here.
Of the right person, I hope I am.
So, speaking of the Batman series, I see Josephine Marcus was played by Dana Delaney. She was most commonly known back in the day for her part in a show called China Beach, which was like really popular for a couple of years and then all of a sudden got canceled. I can't even remember what the whole story behind that was. But she went on to do the voice of Lois Lane in the Batman animated series, Superman series, and Justice League. But on the part I most remember her for was Andrea Beaumont in the Batman Mask of the Phantasm. She was like a girl that Bruce Wayne had met and fell in love with before he was actual Batman. Which, if you haven't seen that film, that is a fantastic film.
It's a great movie.
If they were to reshoot it today,
as a live action,
they could do it frame by frame as the same film, and it would be fantastic.
It's that good. It holds up. I really think so. It put Mark Hamill on the map as the definitive voice of the Joker.
Yeah, broke him out of the Luke Skywalker mold that he'd been cast in for so many years up until then. I guess it would have been about 10 years, right?
About, yeah.
Yeah, typecast as a Luke Skywalker type. Nobody wanted to see him as anything else.
Yeah. And went on to be a pretty successful voice actor.
Yeah.
Which is good. And then, of course, there's also the iconic voice of Bruce Wayne and Batman in that.
Talking about Kevin Conroy?
Yes.
That was the most definitive Batman of our era.
For sure. Whenever I actually read something about Batman and the Joker, those are the two voices I hear in my head. They were that good.
But Dana Delaney was in that. She played Andrea Beaumont, which actually, spoiler alert, she actually turned out to be the villain in that film. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Then we got a bunch of bit characters in there. We got Lisa Collins as Louisa Earp. Allie Earp was played by Paula Malcolmson. Johnny Ringo was played by Michael Biehn. I think we brought that up already.
Yes.
Yeah, they call it a star-studded cast. We got tons of people in there.
Sherman McMaster's played by Michael Rooker and doing what he does in movies. Most people don't realize this, but it's something that I've picked up on, and I've never heard anybody else talk about it, is that Michael Rooker's pretty typecast in a way, in a sense. And he plays a villain who has a redemption arc and then is brutally murdered.
Well, yeah, he dies in pretty much everything eventually, doesn't he?
Yeah. But he always redeems himself right before.
Let's see, that was The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, he did for sure. He had a redemption and then was eaten and became a walker, and then was later
Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only movie that he doesn't have that same arc is in Henry. I think which was his, at least one of his first roles. I don't know if it was his first role, but he portrayed Henry Lee Lucas.
I don't think I've seen that film. Now, I remember the first film I remember seeing him in was Mallrats. And
I guess he didn't do.
Yeah,
do that.
he didn't quite have a redemption arc in there, but he did get his up and comings. I don't know if I could say that on the podcast though. It was kind of out there.
Oh, was that the handshake thing?
Yeah, the handshake thing. So
watch the movie.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so back to so the Clantons and McClurys were actually in this movie portrayed by one person each, right? Or were there two McClurys in this movie? I don't remember.
I don't know. I think we were doing research on it, and they kind of narrowed down the characters down to just a few people when there was a lot more people involved.
The Clintons were more. There was a few brothers rather than just one guy. So I think that he was kind of portraying more than one character as one character.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I mean, it was always portrayed as a feud when I was growing up, and anything that I remember seeing about the shootout at the OK Corral. They even had an episode on Star Trek where an alien had snagged Kirk and them, and actually made them do the
original Star Trek.
Yeah, the original Star Trek. Yeah, so put them against the Earps. So they had to figure out how they were going to win the OK Corral, whereas history said that they all died.
That's pretty funny. It's you kind of turning it on its head. Usually the heroes would be put in the hero role and trying to figure it out. And in this sense, they were put in the, I guess. Well, I mean, are they really villains? They were, I guess, outlaws. So the heroes are put in the outlaw position rather than in the hero position.
Well, I mean, depending on what side you're on, I mean, anybody could be a villain.
Well, yeah, but according to the law, they were the ones on the wrong side.
That's true. But yeah, no, I mean, it was always portrayed as a feud. So after the shootout of the OK Corral, they did go out and hunt everybody down, kill as many of them as they could.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like the catalyst that made them finally just go in an all-out war.
So they show up to town. The Earps show up to town. They decide they're gonna make their fortune, and it's the three brothers and their wives in quotes. We found I just found something out a little bit earlier you were telling me about. I'll let you bring that up here in a moment. But they show up to town. They start getting in with the businesses.
They're all former lawmen.
Former lawmen from Dodge City. Wyatt Earp was Wyatt, Dodge City.
The most famous of them all. He was actually being famous back in those days was a lot different from being famous these days. If you were famous back then, you were really famous. I mean, if word got around about you back then, it was
a big deal.
Really something. You were like instant legend status.
I mean, they even show that in the film. I mean, he immediately gets off the train.
Yeah.
Somebody recognizes him and says, "Hey, do you want to be the marshal?" And he was like, "No."
And people actually knew his name more than they knew his face. So there's that as well.
Well, I mean, that leads up to the part where he gets the stake in the casino.
Yes.
So he shows up at the casino. He gets there, meets his brothers, shows up at the casino, and the one place that Behan,
the county sheriff.
County sheriff got there and was telling him about the town. He was like, "Oh, everybody's making money except for the one place over here,
the Oriental." So Wyatt goes straight there. Of course, being Wyatt, and even his brothers make a joke about that. Oh, there he goes. And he goes in there and immediately talks to the owner, who's also the bartender, and asks him why his business isn't running so well. Yeah, they make their introductions, and he tells them he's Wyatt Earp, and the guy's like, "Oh, sure, buddy." So he goes head on against the one guy who's running all his high-class business out. And
Billy Bob Thornton. I think this was one of the first mainstream films that I remember seeing him in. Mm-hmm. And of course, he blew up after that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's very famous for playing in Sling Blade.
Oh, God. Yeah. I got a story about Sling Blade. So back in the day, they were terrible with the movie previews where they would display the entire film in the preview, so there were no surprises. And I was on a date with my fiance.
They still do that.
Yes. Well, I mean, my fiance. She probably was just my girlfriend. My eventual wife. And we were walking around the mall, which you did back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, do you want to see a movie? Because at that time they had a movie theater in the mall. She goes, yeah. She goes, well, what do you want to see? I said, well, let's see what they got. And we go there and we look down the list. And I'm all like, well, these are all pretty much spoiled. I've never actually seen a movie where I've never seen a preview before. She goes, you know what? Neither have I. So on the list was Sling Blade. I was like, yeah, let's sit down and do that. So we sit down and we watch Sling Blade. We come out and it's like, oh, that was a film. I don't think I'll do that again. Mainly because I don't like overdramatic things.
Well, Sling Blade is it's one of those movies that you gotta sit down and watch.
Yes, I'm not saying it was a bad film.
No, it's just it's definitely not an action movie if that's what you're into. It's very story driven and kind of slow moving in parts, but it takes place in a small town, and it's very small town. It's got a very small town feel.
Yes. Yes, it centers around the main character, and I can't remember what his name is, but it's Billy Bob Thornton. He wrote and directed the film, as I believe.
Yes.
And I guess you best describe it. He's autistic.
I guess that would be his condition. I'm not entirely sure what it was.
Yeah, he was pretty much autistic in the film. Severe case, and he winds up killing his parents.
He kills his mother.
Kills his mother.
And
his mother and her lover.
And yes, and that's why he's put in the nervous hospital, as he puts it.
Yeah, so he's there for
most of his life, and then when he's after he's already an adult, that's when they release him because they feel like he's able to be put back into society.
Yeah,
he's not a threat to himself or anyone else.
So the film is basically him just trying to reacclimate back into society. Mm-hmm. But he's got some pretty memorable things that you get there. It's like, oh well, let's having a problem with your lawnmower over here. Why don't you ask what's his name, and he'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I've tried this and I've tried this, and then immediately just takes off the gas cap and says, I ain't got no gas in
it. Every time something's broken and I should go through to try to fix it, and then I try everything, troubleshoot all the stuff, and then I finally come to the simplest thing, and I'm like, there it is. Ain't got no gas in it.
Ain't got no gas in it. Have you seen he was in Billy Bob Thornton was in a deal with, oh God, what's the guy's name played Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh, I don't remember his name either. Wow.
John Heater.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they were doing some junket. I think it was for School for Scoundrels. And he was going around with Billy Bob Thornton doing interviews and stuff like that. And I don't know what happened. Somebody talked him into playing the character from Sling Blade and Napoleon Dynamite. And the interchange between the two guys is absolutely hilarious.
That is really good.
But yeah, Billy Bob Thornton had a bit part in this film. It was pretty much an ensemble cast. He later went on to do some really big things like Armageddon and stuff like that. And I think it's not Landman. What's he doing? Landman?
Yeah, it is Landman.
Yeah,
it's his current project.
Current project, which is like really popular nowadays.
Yes.
All right. Anyhow, so Billy Bob starts out the film with his bit part role in here, and it's like one of the first iconic scenes of the film.
Yeah. So he gets into a confrontation with Wyatt Earp over his cigar smoking, and
he's been real belligerent to the other players, and he's a card dealer in the thing.
Yes. He Wyatt takes note of the fact that he doesn't like cigar smoke being blown in his face, and so he purposely goes over there and lights up a big cigar and blows it right in his face just to antagonize him. and Billy Bob's character.
You got a problem with me?
Yeah, so it starts getting mouthy, and Wyatt, of course, just shoots him down and puts him in his place.
Yeah, I got a problem with you. You're sitting in my seat.
Yeah.
Is that so?
Yeah, that's a fact.
And he starts in with the iconic lines.
Yeah. And he smacks him a few times in the mouth, and he asks him, "Are you going to do something more, or just stand there and bleed?" And then he grabs him by the ear and runs him out. And that's when, he gets he gets a stake in the Oriental there. Already starting off before they even have a place to stay. They've already got a stake in the town.
Yeah, they haven't even been in town for what, like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then from there we run into they meet up with Doc Holliday on the street right after he gets the steak. So you get the first iconic scene with Doc Holliday because they're sitting there talking, and Billy Bob Thornton's character comes up with a shotgun.
Yeah, he's determined to, I guess, save face and get a little bit of revenge. And
yeah, Doc calls him out by name. Is that you? Oh, hi, Doc. He goes, have you met my friend Wyatt Earp?
Which is also funny. Which is another thing that I liked is Doc comes up and greets the Earp brothers and shakes all their hands, and then this is when Sheriff Behan makes his presence known. He comes up and shakes the Earp brothers' hands, and then Doc just looks at him and says, "Forgive me if I don't shake hands," which is a very gentlemanly way of telling him to, F himself.
Yeah. Yeah, the film's filled with iconic lines. I mean, they go on. What are the most famous ones for Doc Holliday? We got.
Oh, there's several. I'm your Huckleberry.
You're a daisy if you do.
Yeah, that one too. Which also is one of my favorite scenes of the movie is towards the end of the movie, where Johnny Ringo and Doc Holliday have their little standoff. Finally, the final standoff.
Oh yeah, because they were needling each other through the entire thing.
Through the entire thing, and Johnny Ringo was very famous for he was a big outlaw. A lot of people feared him, and he made it pretty known that he wasn't afraid of anyone, but he did seem to be actually afraid of.
What was the line on that one? It was like, "Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked across your grave."
And well, trying to think of the retort that Johnny gave him, but really good scene. There's also other iconic scenes. What do you like?
Oh, I like the creek scene.
Okay, yeah.
They get ambushed at the creek. So after the shoot, well, we didn't even talk about the shootout. So the shootout, everything at the beginning of the film leads up to the shootout of the OK Corral. Mm-hmm. So they don't want to be marshals. Some bad stuff happens in town. Virgil becomes a sheriff, and Morgan Earp becomes a sheriff to back his older brother. So they put in place, because the previous sheriff was killed by Curly Bill.
The town marshal.
Yeah, town marshal.
Yeah.
He gets killed by Curly Bill in a drug-fueled confrontation where he was trying to disarm him, and the guy just shoots him.
It looks like an accident, but it was probably on purpose. But it wasn't looked enough like an accident for him to more or less get away with it.
So that sets off a whole chain of events, and it leads up to the OK Corral, where the guys are in town. They put in place an ordinance where you couldn't carry a gun in town, and these guys are in town carrying a gun. Wyatt says, "Well, if you guys are going to go down there and talk to him, I might as well go with you. You might as well swear me in."
Yeah, and he says, you're really gonna go and put everything on the line for a misdemeanor, and uh,
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
You're damn right I will.
Yeah, yeah, he's very straightforward about law and order. Virgil is so he.
They
says,
go down and everything goes down. It's very dramatically played out in the film, the shootout, and it takes about 3 or 4 minutes for the whole shootout to take place in the film. And I think we found out just a few minutes ago that the whole shootout only took about 30 seconds.
Yeah, in real life it was very short, but again, still one of the most well documented and most known of the shootouts in the Old West.
Yeah, shootout at the OK Corral, man. And then a good majority of the film after that is just montage of them hunting them down.
For the most part, yeah. Afterwards, the Cowboys make a retaliation, and they attack the Earps in their home.
Yeah, they attack the women and they kill Morgan.
Yes.
Bill Paxton's character. Mm-hmm. Big surprise he died in another film.
Yeah.
We should look that up. How many times did Bill Paxton die in the film compared to Sean Bean?
Yeah.
I'm thinking back at it now. I don't remember a film where he ever lived through.
Yeah, you might be.
Weird Science, maybe.
Probably. I don't think anyone died in that one.
No. No. No, he did get turned into a big pile of crap, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you have it.
But no, I think from the OK Corral, I think my favorite scene is the shootout at the creek. So they're hunting them down. After they killed their brother, they all became U.S. Marshals after that, which gave them authority over anybody else, so they wouldn't have a problem with the county sheriff Behan.
Yeah.
Because they had federal authority. So they started hunting down the Cowboys, and they get caught in an ambush at a creek, and they're all pinned down and everything like that. And Wyatt Earp just kind of loses his head. He was like, no. And he starts getting out there, stands out in the center of the creek, and starts killing everybody in sight. Mm-hmm. And they can't seem to hit him. Which you find out that's actually historically accurate.
Yes, everyone that lived through that all give their account of it and say that that's absolutely what happened.
Yeah, the scariest thing they've ever seen somebody do. Yeah. Oh man, you remember at the end of the film with Doc Holliday?
Oh yeah, very another interesting scene. So he's laying in his deathbed.
Wyatt shows up.
And wants to kind of spend some time with his friend. And, Doc's just kind of being Doc, telling him that he doesn't have to be there and all this other stuff. Wyatt insists and wants to play one last card game with him. And Doc, of course, wins.
He's not even trying anymore.
Yeah, he's not even actually playing. Wyatt actually played both hands, but somehow Doc wins that one, and Wyatt leaves him there after
being sent away. He said, "I don't want you here."
Yeah,
nobody wants to be. A lot of manly men, don't want people to see them at their weakest.
Yeah. So, funny thing, he looks after Wyatt leaves. Doc looks down at his feet there and just says, "This is funny," which some people notice that's the old saying, die with your boots on, things like that. But they don't realize that Doc tried everything that he could to not die that way.
Yeah,
he was determined to die a violent death or something. He didn't want to die in bed.
I mean, tuberculosis is a terrible way to go.
Yeah, he was wasting away, and that was part of the reason why he was so feared, is because of the fact that he knew he was going to die. So he
waited for it.
Yeah, so he was challenging anyone to do it, to come and kill him.
Now, they played up that Wyatt Earp is cheating on his wife.
Yeah, so this is a funny thing. At one point where Ike and Virgil get into a conversation, and Ike is, of course, drunk as usual, calls them all pimps, and it's kind of glossed over in the movie. He just says it, and nothing's really elaborated on after that. But apparently, historically, the Earp brothers were pimping out the women that they were traveling with. Wyatt wasn't actually married to Maddie Blaylock. Yeah.
Common law, from what I understand, which is it just living with somebody for a long time period.
Yeah. So they traveled together, and I guess he sort of he pimped her out to make extra money, stuff like that. Which is a little known thing about the Old West, is that's what happened a lot. Is people would pimp out their wives or girlfriends in a lot of these boom towns, where these small towns would pop up out of nowhere that were built on just gold mining and stuff like that. Or if the railroad was being built nearby, a town would pop up just to kind of give the workers a place to go home to at night. And there was a lot of gambling and a lot of drinking, a lot of prostitution that went on in those towns.
Well, it's funny because they portray Virgil as having his wife in the film, but that's not the case. She actually lived in Oregon at the time.
Yes, but there wasn't. I guess same thing. There was a woman
that was with him at the time. That's weird. Those guys were portrayed as the good guys, and they're pimps. It's amazing what Hollywood do to cover up something.
A lot of times the heroes are given this squeaky clean image, and which is not entirely true about all people that end up doing heroic things.
Wyatt Earp, played by Kurt Russell.
Yes.
So, did you know that it's been reported that after the actual the guy that's credited as being the director died, that Kurt Russell had taken over as directing? Not during he didn't die during the film. Apparently, he had some real issues going on. Wow. And was not very present during the filming. So Kurt Russell took over, and anybody in the cast now is reporting that he probably directed about 80 to 90% of the film.
Yeah.
Which is something you didn't hear back in the day. But Kurt Russell actually wanted that to not get out until after the guy actually wound up dying.
Yeah, left uncredited as the director. It's pretty widely known now that he played a major role in the direction of the film, which also plays into the fact that Wyatt Earp is the star of the movie, but he's
not very prominent in it.
Not very prominent in it.
He has a few good lines in the film.
He has a lot of really good lines. He's the star, but he's not. But
he doesn't steal the show. Doc Holliday steals the show in the film.
That's also attributed to the fact that Val Kilmer steals a scene in anything he's in, but it's also because of the fact that Kurt Russell didn't want to give his own character more time than anybody else.
Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of self-serving, and he's not. Yeah. He doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. You want to know something interesting about Kurt Russell?
What's up?
All right, so supposedly back in the day, Walt Disney, in his last final documents that he did, that he filled out or worked on before he died, mentioned Kurt Russell.
Really?
Yeah. He wanted him for a lot of roles. Apparently, he was a child actor back in the day.
Oh, well, I guess he would have been, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a child actor, worked in a lot of Disney products, but Walt Disney actually had him in his slots on his last days on the thing.
His last day?
Yeah.
Walt Disney's last name? Oh, I guess it would be Walt Disney because, Kurt's still alive, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, not sure we can really get into this, but...
What are we getting into?
Are you sure those were Walt Disney's last days?
What do you mean?
Because...
Are we going to put out some Disney stuff there that they don't want us to know about?
Maybe. I don't know.
Why don't you go ahead and tell me what it is?
Okay.
And then if it doesn't fly, if it doesn't give a good vibe out, maybe we'll just cut it from the thing.
Okay, well...
You mean that's why they have the Frozen film? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that's the rumor. That is the
Yeah,
Doc Holliday would say.
We're not going to put that on there. We can't.
Okay.
They'll be all over us for sure.
All right.
They got people everywhere now. But yeah, Tombstone, great film. Came out in '93. Great cast, fantastic cast, well-rounded.
Yep.
A lot of the people went on to do bigger and better things, long storied careers. I guess we can get into saying our goodbyes to everybody. Get something out here before we wrap up tonight's episode of Tombstone.
In this movie, as in a lot of westerns, there's a lot of violence to be sure, but there's also a lot of drinking that goes on. So.
Well, a lot of the violence is driven by the drinking. All right, so in the spirit of 80s kids, we always have to have a nice moral to the story or a nice something to look, well, I mean, it's not nice. I mean, our last episode, we put out the suicide hotline. But in the spirit of the drinkers and stuff in this film, we want to just, before we wrap up tonight on Tombstone, we want to take a quick moment to mention something important. One of the things that really stands out in this movie is the idea that nobody gets through this life alone. Whether it's Wyatt standing by his brothers or Doc Holliday standing with it by his friend, the story reminds us how important it is to have people in your corner when things get tough. If alcohol has become a struggle in your life, Alcoholics Anonymous offers a place where people support each other in recovery. AA meetings are free, confidential, and open to anyone who wants help with a drinking problem. If you'd like to learn more or find a meeting near you, visit aa.org. You don't have to face it alone.
No, you don't.
All right. Thank you for spending this time with us. I am your Uncle Patches, and I'm here with
Sinister Cinema.
And we wish you a fantastic evening.
Yes. Good night.